Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is Twist Gaming, where you get to play board games with us. You got it, James.
I was almost there.
Thank you all for joining us. We are live here at Dice Tower Con 2018, bringing you all the awesome board game coverage all weekend long. But first off, who are we? I'm Matt.
I'm Ann.
And we are joined here with James Hudson from Skybound.
I'm James.
How you doing, James?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
I feel very dressed down right
Where's
now.
your suit?
I know, guys.
Did you not get the memo?
I didn't.
Oh.
I didn't check my phone early enough.
At least you're on time for the interview. That's what matters, right?
check mark.
Done.
James, how's the con treating you so far?
It is great. I am so tired because we're just staying up playing games until the sun comes. Literally, the sun comes up. Last night was about a 4:30 in the morning situation.
You are a stronger man than I.
It's funny because it's like, all right, we're playing a game. You're like, oh my gosh, it's 2:30. Let's box this up. I gotta go to bed. And then somebody's like, do you want to play this? And you're like, yes.
It was really funny. One of the nights I was up until probably about like 2 playing games in the main hall, and then as I was leaving, they were setting up the coffee and tea station outside. I was like, that is just so awesome.
Manna from heaven.
Yeah.
Just a little more caffeine to stay up a little longer.
Yeah. You become immune to it at some point.
That's why you just drink more and more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you just never sleep.
Yeah.
You're more efficient that way.
We'll see.
So, James, we got some really pretty artwork on the table here. Some of it looks a little familiar to me because we did show off Grimm Forest on Twitch Gaming or Twist Gaming a few months back.
Sure.
So, what have you brought to the table here?
This is the Grimm Masquerade. It is the thematic sequel to the Grimm Forest. It does not have the same. It's not an expansion or anything like that. It is a separate game, but it is a hidden identity strategic card game. So it's not. It does have some social elements, but it's definitely not like coup or resistance or anything like that. It's more based around the card play.
Okay.
So what you got here? I'll give you the 30-second overview.
Please.
I don't explain anything in 30 seconds. Why would I say that? You're going to be given a hidden identity. It's going to be one of the 8 characters that you see here. And what happens is you went to the Beast's ball. He's having the Masquerade, and he likes to play games. And so as soon as you walk in, a magical spell is cast upon you, and you're changed into the identity of one of the other guests. So only you know your true identity.
Oh.
Okay, so you'll be getting one of these identities, and that's who you are, and you're going to keep that secret. You'll see on the identity cards that you have an artifact that is the artifact that you want. If you can get 3 of those, you win the Beast game. Down here on the bottom, you have an artifact that is your Bane. If you get 2 of those, it'll reveal your identity and put you out of the competition.
Gotcha.
And so what happens is players are going to be taking the artifacts, and you'll draw 2 on your turn. You'll choose 1 to keep, to put in your own tableau, and 1 to give to another player. So why this is important is once you give someone their second artifact, if this is the Bane of that character, it would put them out of the game. It would reveal them.
So once you get 2 of your Bane artifacts, that's when you are revealed.
That's right. And so anytime that you get 2, you have to declare if that puts you out. So let's just say I'm the red player, and you're the red player, and you're like, no, I am not the evil queen. You would mark that. So now we're narrowing the scope of who you could be. Okay. While that gives you a disadvantage, it also gives you another advantage, as if you are the Beast, you only need 1 more mirror and you'll win. Absolutely. So now we have to work harder to keep you from winning if that's who you are. Also, you could choose to take these 2 cards, discard them, and it fuels the power board over here. It lets you do things like guess people's identity, take a guess card, and I can explain that one in a second, and then do some things with the market of cards that are out there to try to get what you need.
When you're discarding the cards, is it just sets of 2 that you're trying to discard there?
It is.
Okay.
It is. And that also gives everybody a little bit of information at the table too, right? Like if you're the Beast, you probably wouldn't discard 2 mirrors.
Right.
So every action that people take, it kind of starts to give you that information. You can start to kind of build a case against people. So I've heard people that have been demoing this week call it like Clue on steroids, the card game. And which when we set out to make it, Tim Eisner, Ben Eisner, and myself designed this game. We were like, let's make this world seems ripe for a hidden identity game.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to do social deductions that's been done many, many times.
Right.
This was our
fresh take
on it. I mean, best we can. So let me explain the guest card, because this is the thing that I'm most proud about in the game.
Okay.
No one likes player elimination. No one likes to be put out of the game. So what we have here, when you are identified, let's just say that you were the evil queen, and that puts you out of the game. Boo. You take the guest cards. It's one of each of the characters, and you're going to choose who you think's going to win. Now, you're not betting on James, the player. You're betting on the character. So you could be wrong as far as who you think I am, but maybe that character's still in the game.
You still get it.
So on your turn, you still draw 2 artifacts, and you still give someone one of those artifacts. So you can still drive the narrative that you want to see.
So you're not sitting at the table twiddling your thumbs watching the game
play
out. You're still interacting with everyone.
And if the character wins that you chose on your guest card, you win with them.
Ooh.
Okay.
So you're never really out of the game.
That's really good, because that's a huge negative aspect of player elimination games, is you just have people that get out of the game early and they're sitting there twiddling their thumbs and they just completely lose interest in playing again, or just lose interest in the game night as a whole. So that's really nice to see.
See is it blue going to work there?
Yeah, that should be fun.
I mean, this is the art done by the Cuddingtons. I mean, they're just, I had to sleeve this. It's a prototype, obviously.
Yeah. So that's just really gorgeous artwork.
This one's extra shiny, so it might not work, but Evil Queen. Oh gosh, so pretty.
So it's like the watercolor style artwork there. That's really beautiful.
Yeah. So, and there's a scoring system. So when you win with the winner, it's there's tokens. So whoever loses gets a token, because the rounds only take, say, 10, 12 minutes. They go really quickly. So you get a token, and whoever wins does not get a token. So when someone gets their 3rd token, that triggers the overall end of the game. And then whoever has the least amount of tokens is the overall winner. It's like golf. Who has their lowest score wins. So when I win with you, I just don't get a token. So it doesn't feel like if you won, like you tied with somebody.
Right.
It makes for some really fun meta moments. So like if Anne had 2 tokens, I had 1 and you had none, you want her to get a token on the next turn, because that would mean you would win.
Right.
I do not want her to get a token. I want to help her win, because I need to get you a token.
You don't want to trigger
so now you've got people working against you, even though you're way in the lead. So it's got some really fun moments. There's also powers where you can go in and take a guest card voluntarily before you're out, and you could take your own card so that no one can win with you. So you can double down on yourself.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's got a bunch of fun little interactions once you dive into it deep.
So talk to me about how you guys came up with the various artifacts. The art definitely immediately has me interested again in the theme, and obviously with the great success of the Grimm Forest, it's fun to continue on in this world. Talk to me a little bit about how you chose these particular characters for the game and the artifact matching that you guys did.
Sure. So it was obviously thematic with the artifacts. So we tried to be like, okay, Cinderella would obviously want her glass slippers, and time works against her, right? Because at midnight she turns into a pumpkin or whatever that was.
I didn't even register that in my head, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
That's funny.
The evil queen always wanted to be royal and be in charge, and then she had the mirror that was always being really nasty to her. So there was only a few that we had to kind of like really dig deep into the story.
Yeah.
Because you'll see here we've got the 8. You play with this many characters when you're playing 2 to 4, and then when you are playing 5 to 6, there's an additional 4 characters that come out. So you've got Belle and the Huntsman and Snow White and Puss in Boots.
I definitely love the new, fresh take on some of these characters. The first thing that I noticed personally was that the Evil Queen was a blonde. I'm so used to seeing her, and it's just weird kind of details, but I'm used to seeing her with, dark hair, that Cinderella is a blonde, and here she is as a redhead, and you've got Snow White, looks to be more of an Asian character. So that's really cool to see the different kind of take on these characters.
And Belle's our little bookworm. She's got her glasses, and she's... I just took that one out. I don't know if you noticed. I love this one. This one's my favorite. She's a little bookworm.
She's very cute.
Yeah. So, our take on that is we just like to portray a diverse world in our games, because we live in a diverse world, and we want everyone to feel invited and they can see themselves in the games.
Absolutely.
And that's that was one of the really highlights of Grimm Forest campaign for me when we were doing it on Kickstarter. Our Snow White is as an Asian depiction, and so I actually found a group on a Chinese board game group, and they had taken the Asian Snow White character art, and it was just like 200 comments, and so I was having to sit there and Google Translate all the comments to see what they were saying.
Wow.
And they were just so excited to see someone had taken and put their culture into a game.
That's very heartwarming.
It is.
I
get a little misty, even though I'm barely awake this morning. But that's what gaming is supposed to do for us, right? We want to see ourselves in the games that we play. So
it just increases the immersion factor.
It does. It does. Yeah.
So how do you get the power cards? I know you touched them on them briefly. How do you get them in the gameplay?
So they're standard here, and so when you have 2 artifacts in your tableau, you have to discard those. And so when you discard those, that gives you the opportunity to pick one of the powers to use.
Okay.
And so, like, okay, if I think I've got you figured out, I can be like, all right, I'm discarding my 2 mirrors, and I think you're Cinderella. And then you would say, close but not close enough, or whatever, and then you'd mark if it's not. So you have to actually give up some of your, you have to give up some information. Everything you do in the game, you have to give or take information. So you're, narrowing that scope.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So
James, what would you say is your favorite aspect of this game? If you had to pick one, would it be those guest cards?
It's definitely a mix between the guest cards and then also like when you draw the 2 and you've got, well, typically you have an option. When you draw your 2 artifacts and you're looking, you typically know right away what you want. You don't want to take your Bane and you know what you're looking for. So you take one and then you're like, okay, who around the table has a mirror? Okay, all right. 2 people have a mirror. Now, who do I want to know if I'm going to put them out? Maybe I think you're the evil queen, so I'm going to give it to you. Or maybe I just want to see if I just want more information on the board. So that's really fun. And then, yes, the guess, it is so satisfying to be put out or to power the guess and you get it, because it's really hard to actually guess who somebody is.
Yeah.
Because the game plays short, so you got to discern information quickly. It feels really satisfying when you've got it and somebody's like, I win, I'm Puss in Boots, and you're like,
I win too.
I win with you, I got you. So yeah, and it doesn't happen very often, so it's very satisfying.
So you were saying that this is a 2 to 6 player game,
2 to
correct?
6, yep.
All right, fantastic. And do you have any other questions?
No, this just seems like a very well put together, simple, fun game with some really great art.
Absolutely, the art is just really
And it's not going to be a Kickstarter. It's going to go straight to retail.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're going to hope to have this out end of the year, first of next year.
Fantastic. Is there a price point set for it yet, or that's still being worked out?
It's
right
still
now?
being worked out, but I would say it's going to be in the $25 range.
Okay.
And of course, how do we keep up with any updates on the game with like a...
Sure. So you can always follow everything that I do on Druid City Games, but then also this game, I'm always going to have a specific Facebook page for the games, because that's just one of the easiest ways to kind of hold and diary a project. So, yeah.
Awesome. So it's a
All
great
right.
way for the community to connect, I'm sure, as
Sure.
well.
Oh, absolutely. They can ask questions and we'll answer it. And we try to go live and in even those groups when we have play tests and things like that. So whatever they're into, however they want to engage.
Sounds cool to me.
Sure.
Fantastic. James, I think you have another game that you
I
brought to
do,
show off
I
today.
do.
So let's do a little soft sign off right now. We'll come back with your other
Sure.
game. So thank you all for joining us for now. Stay tuned for in just a minute. We're going to have some more from James Hudson and Skybound. But signing off for now, I'm Matt.
I'm Ann.
Have a good one.
BRB.